This should be an interesting one. These two guys don't particularly like each other. Eric Rinehartd against Tim St. Clair. They have been kickboxers, and now they're going to be in the ring as pure boxers. Before we had this bout, though, Dick Landis is standing back in the dressing room area once again. One of our up-and-coming fighters will be in the ring later. He has an interview with Anthony. I say that loosely because he quite obviously has been up and down his career. Good look at him. He's chiseled. Looks like he can fight pretty good, but the skills will be something we'll watch here.
Doesn't always mean anything, and though he's going to be looking to break Tim's perfect record of 4-0.
Well, on the other side of the ring from him is Tim St. Clair. He's 26 years of age, and again, this is one of the guys that wins some tough man contests in the kickboxing. And again, he'll have his work cut out for him in the ring here tonight. Let's go now to do our ring announcer. Here's Don Shea for the introduction of tonight's fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next bout of the evening is scheduled for 4 rounds. Here are the principals. In the red corner from Lake Norman, North Carolina, weighing 170 pounds with a record of 14 wins and 12 losses, Eric Bam Bam Rinehartd. His opponent in the blue corner from Lincolnton, North Carolina, with a record of 6 wins and 2 losses, and weighing in at 176 pounds, Tim St. Clair. Your referee again, Charlie Hammond.
Well, the two fighters taking their time to come to the center of the ring as they signify the start of round number 1. And here again, our referee, Charlie Hammonds.
Give me a clean breaks and you won't see much of me, all right? Touch gloves. Good luck to both of you.
Well, Arnie, I think that was rather succinct. I think he just wants him to fight a little here.
I like his style.
You know, we made mention that both these fighters have fought in kickboxing rings. St. Clair's had the upper hand, but again, that all kind of goes for naught here tonight. We'll find out what they can do inside the boxing ring now.
Right, well, that seems to be a trend lately. A lot of kickboxers are converting over to orthodox boxing. Of course, Troy Dorsey being the most famous, and James Waring, the NABF Cruiserweight champion, also former kickboxer.
Again, you can see St. Clair, 6'3", the taller of the two, 5'10" for Rinehartd. Rinehartd at 30, and St. Clair will be 27 on the 29th of the month. He's wearing the solid black, and of course Rinehartd in the blue. One of the things, Arnie, that we've made notice, and you mentioned it before this fight started, kickboxers have a tendency when they get in on top of somebody, all of a sudden they'll back out almost as if to say, okay, I've got to throw some kicks, rather than staying on top of a fighter that may be in trouble.
I've had that conversation with many kickboxers on how they break that habit. I would think it would be instinctive that they'd want to throw the leg, and something that you wouldn't be able to just turn off and turn on. So I find it hard to believe sometimes when I see them come in the ring to be able to make the transition as smoothly as some of them have.
Stalking style here at St. Clair in the black. Rinehartd, good jabbing left hand to try to keep him off of it. Rinehartd, the lighter of the two at 170, 176 for St. Clair. St. Clair definitely has been the aggressor in this first round. Rinehartd definitely using the jab more than St. Clair. St. Clair just kind of a pawing jab, nothing to back it up with a right hand to follow. You see it there. Good uppercut that time by Rinehartd.
Rinehartd is a lot more skilled fighter than his record would reflect.
Got it standing back on the heels, which would indicate he likes for the opponent to come in and try to counter off of that. He's not an attacker, at least right now.
Well, and St. Clair seems quite off balance on a lot of his shots. Again, might be the transition from kickboxer to boxer.
St. Clair smelling a little trouble, and Rinehartd coming out with a good counter. There you see that good jab thrown by Rinehartd. And the uppercut have been his best two weapons here in the first round. St. Clair, however, scoring points with his aggressiveness.
Picked up a low blow in the process, too.
It'll be interesting to note and see how St. Clair's stamina stands up. He's already trying to push that mouthpiece out. He throws a good looping left hand there. That's the end of round number 1. Rinehartd and St. Clair and Raleigh.
19.
Round number 2 is underway as Eric Rinehartd in the blue against Tim St. Clair in the black. First round was St. Clair the aggressor, Rinehartd the counterpuncher. As a matter of fact, Artie, I thought he did it quite well in round 1.
Well, he did it okay, but I think St. Clair's paying for his aggression right now because he seemed to be out of breath the whole 60 seconds between round, and right now he's catching.
Well, that off-balance style, you can walk into a right hand very quickly with that.
He doesn't seem to keep his feet planted very well.
Now Rinehartd apparently has changed his style of attack here in round 2. You saw a moment ago he was attacking. Now counters again and loops that left hand. Might have been a little low again. You know, Artie, as you take a look at that left hand by Rinehartd, you'd always like to see a right hand following that. It's such a good left hand on the jab.
He seems to be very left-oriented. On the other hand, St. Clair has nothing on his jab, and he's fighting like he's got weights in his gloves right now.
Good straight right hand by St. Clair. You see the peekaboo style there. Rinehartd caught a lot of those on the glove, but he did catch a good one right on the flush of the face. That time Rinehartd almost dived right into a right hand of his own. Left hand again by St. Clair. Well, those punches do have something on them, but that's just the off-balance style of St. Clair. It looked like he stumbled momentarily.
He throws what we call arm punches. There's not a lot behind them. He's not putting his weight behind the punches. On the other hand, Reinhardt's got a beautiful jab, and it would be nice to see him follow it up with the right, but he has thrown that uppercut a few times, and St. Clair's very susceptible for it.
By Rinehartd, you bet.
There it is.
Every time St. Clair throws a punch on it, it almost looks like he's the one going down, even though he might land it.
Very poor balance.
There you see that left hand, but nothing behind it from Rinehartd. He's tried that uppercut. You can see it's a weapon that could be used with a crouching St. Clair. Coming up on the closing seconds of this, the scheduled 4-rounder. Round 2 here in Raleigh, North Carolina. They're just getting warmed up. We'll be back in a moment.
Here you see, Sam, is that wide, off-balance arm weary punching. I can't believe between rounds, Reinhardt's corner is telling him that he's losing the fight. I don't know what fight they're watching, or they just want to keep their fighter sharp. But I can't see how.
Just trying to keep him in the fight, I think. I think they want to get him a little more aggressive. They like the counter punches. And in that corner, working with his Butch Chambers, by the way, along with Stacy Bentley. And they're just trying to get Rinehartd to get a little more aggressive, but you can see St. Clair's trying to steal it back from him here.
Well, I felt that at any time in that second round, if he wanted to be aggressive, he could have taken St. Clair out of there.
The one thing I think that Rinehartd is at least looking for now, Arnie, is a little bit more of an angle. He was trying to come straight ahead with the left jab and the uppercut. Now, look as he's going left and right. I think he's trying to find an angle to try to slip one into the body. Mouthpiece out. They do not replace it here in North Carolina, apparently, as it's kicked out of the ring. St. Clair was already bleeding a little from the nose and acknowledges a big punch from Rinehartd.
By hitting himself. He didn't get hit hard enough. He had to hit himself.
Artie's been right on. Those are nothing but arm punches thrown by St. Clair right now.
Incidentally, his mouthpiece was full of blood, so I think he's bleeding fairly heavily inside his mouth from those uppercuts that Reinhardt's been throwing.
Eric Bam Bam Rinehartd in the blue, 30 years of age, 5'10". Again, the career up and down, 14 wins, 12 losses. Talking to Butch Chambers before the fight, he said, you know, he'll win 2 or 3 pretty good-looking fights, and all of a sudden, he'll lose 2 or 3. We just don't really have a feel on if Eric really wants to do this for a living.
He doesn't appear to have a killer instinct, because I can't believe he could have taken St. Clair out of here a while ago.
One thing about the end of the 4th round, if St. Clair is still there, he will be an arm-weary fighter. He has thrown nothing but arm punches, but he's thrown a lot. Arnie, we mentioned earlier about these fighters being kickboxers and how they'll get a fighter in trouble and then back off. It appears now that they're fighting, staying on top of the fighters a little better right now.
Well, I think it's a matter of warming up. As we said earlier, you know, the transition is something that, to me, could be very confusing, and there's certain fighters that just make it better than others. Troy Dorsey would go in and have an orthodox fight, and 2 weeks later fight kickboxing and never make a mistake in either one of them.
One of the most devastating punches in kickboxing is a spinning back fist. They're not allowed to do that as we close in on the final seconds of round 3. We'll go to the 4th and final round in a moment. Round 4 of this Schedule 4 rounder is here. Eric Rinehartd in the blue, Tim St. Clair in the black, and they come right at each other and start the final round.
Well, again, Sam, Reinhardt's corner tell him stop throwing 1 punch at a time. Don't be nice.
I think both corners is loaded up. They said, you're behind, go get it. Little hot dogging by St. Clair.
Well, one of the things we also didn't touch on in terms of kickboxers, they don't throw as many punches while they're kickboxing as they normally do in regular boxing. They've got those extra 2 tools to work with.
Well, you know they'd love to back out and throw a front kick pretty well when a guy's coming at you, though. Not allowed to do it, and this is the 4th round.
Right now, St. Clair would love to be able to throw a kick because it's all he's got left.
Artie, you got Rinehartd ahead on all 3 of the rounds on your card.
Yeah, I don't see how he can lose this if he stays on his feet for the rest of the fight.
Stranger things have happened in scoring of fights, right?
Absolutely.
3 judges scored here in North Carolina. The referee does not figure in the judging. Referee Charlie Hammond, you indicated at the start of the fight, he said, you fight, I won't be much of a factor, and he hasn't been. Hasn't been a lot of clinches so far. Well, these 2 fighters came out to start this 4th round like we tumped over a bottle of mercury, but now they've settled into a little more slow pace. St. Clair trying to pick it up again.
It's perplexing the way Rinehartd doesn't follow up on those jabs.
Because if you wanted to draw one up and show a youngster how to throw it, he throws it about as well as anybody.
Exactly, and that's why his corner, but you know, seems to be a very nice guy. His corner kept saying, don't be so nice, don't be so nice. Sort of memories of throw punches with bad intentions. Kevin Rooney used to tell Mike Tyson. There was a good uppercut.
Off balance, Tim St. Clair has Rinehartd reeling in the corner. Tim is without a doubt the stronger of the 2 fighters. And he's just able to withstand a lot of that forward press by St. Clair. Good straight left hand, a follow right hand on a counter by Rinehartd.
St. Clair is a sucker for that right hand. Rinehartd just threw it one more time. This wouldn't go to decision.
Well, we thought quite obviously these 2 fighters would go tooth and nail at it tonight here in this fight. Again, we mentioned they don't particularly care for each other from their kickboxing experience. And it has been a pretty good war, but not as good a fight as we might have anticipated.
St. Clair seems to have sustained a cut right inside his left eyelid.
St. Clair doing anything in the 4th round to do anything different on the scorer's card there, Arnie?
Well, he was definitely the aggressor in that last round, and if he had received one of the other rounds and won that, we might be looking at a draw. Wouldn't surprise me. I had it 3-1, or 39 to 37 in favor of Rinehartd.
So it's just that close, this fight here tonight, is Rinehartd in the blue and Tim St. Clair in the far corners. You see him in the black. As we wait for the number, you may recall that first out of the box in this fourth round, they came out like whirlwinds, and we thought we were in for quite an early finish here. Watching here as we start the fourth round.
Well, as you had mentioned, Sam, I think it was another case of both corners saying you're losing the fight, go out there, you need a knockout to win, stop being nice, throw more than one punch at a time, and that's what they did. The only problem is that
a little later on in that same fourth round, you can see that good right hand that Rinehartd was able to throw, but he never really threw it with consistency tonight after that good left jab.
Well, the bottom line was he could get in virtually every punch that he tried. He was successful with uppercuts, he was successful with overhand rights, and with the jab.
Well, stranger things had happened. Let's go to Don Shea for the official numbers on the fight. Don?
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the decision. Judge Hammond scores it 40 points for Eric Rinehartd, 36 for Tim St. Clair. Judge Bill Clancy scores it 39 points for Tim St. Clair, 37 points for Eric Rinehartd. Judge Bruce Foster scores it 38 points for Tim St. Clair, 37 for Eric Rinehartd. The winner on a split decision, Tim St. Clair.
Well, what were you saying, Sam?
Now, strange things have a way of happening on those scorecards. The only thing I can surmise is that Tim St. Clair might have stolen the first round, might have taken the fourth round with that very quick attack he had to start the fourth round.
Well, I'm totally confused. As you know, one of the judges had a shutout in favor of Rinehartd. Rinehartd walked out of here very disgruntled, and it's the kind of thing that can discourage a young fighter and make him maybe not want to stay around. On the other hand, Tim St. Clair goes to 5-0.
And a fighter that quite obviously enjoying the hospitality here in Raleigh, North Carolina, hails from Lincolnton, North Carolina. And he does move his record as working with him in the corner. They're very happy, but